Bhopal gas tragedy. On the 2nd December 1984, in the quiet day of Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, an industrial nightmare began to unfold. This tragedy, known as the Bhopal gas tragedy, would soon be remembered as one of the world's worst industries disaster. The immediate impact was devastating. Thousands of people died within hours as the poisonous gas spread through the city. Panic-stricken residents tried to escape, but the invisible danger was inescapable. Estimates suggest that between 3,000 and 5,000 people died immediately. The long-term effects were equally tragic. The death toll eventually rose between 15,000 and 20,000 due to the health complication from gas exposure. 500,000 survivors suffered from a severe respiratory problems, eye irritation, blindness, and other serious health issues. Investigation revealed gross negligence at the plant, substandard operating procedure, severe understaffing, and ignored safety protocols had all contributed to the disaster. Despite the immense suffering, many victims received only a few $100s in a compensation.
So next, the calamity had an everlasting impact on the lives of countless. Following the catastrophe, the urgent need for compensation and cleaning became imperative. In response to the enormous grief, the Madhya Pradesh government stepped in to compensate the relatives of the slain and injured. This was a critical step in meeting the victims' urgent needs. The Union Carbide Corporation (UCC), the principal owner of Union Carbide India Limited (UCIL), was subjected to lawsuit following the tragedy. In 1989, UCC paid $470 million to resolve the court fight. This settlement was meant to give a relief to the victim while also supporting long-term healing initiative. In 1994, Eveready Industries India Limited purchased UCC's interest in UCIL. Eveready Industries took on the obligation and performed the difficult process of cleaning up the site, aiming to restore the land and prevent environmental harm. The accident resulted in substantial legal and environmental action. While compensation and cleaning efforts have brought some respite, the path to the full healing and justice continues. The community resiliency and continued for its rights continue to be tremendous testament to their strength and tenacity. The Bhopal gas tragedy was more than simply a calamity that caused widespread human misery. It also highlighted serious concerns about corporate accountability and industrial safety. Following the disaster, Union Carbide Corporation (UCC) faced significant judicial examination. The $470 million settlement in 1899 was intended to compensate the victims, but issues remain regarding its appropriateness and the corporation's responsibility. Despite the financial settlement, many people believe that UCC and its successor corporation did not completely meet its moral and ethical commitments. The remediation of the site by Eveready Industries was a step forward, but larger concern of industrial safety and corporate accountability remained. The Bhopal gas tragedy exposed worrisome weaknesses in industry safety regulation, particularly in developing nations. To avoid such mishaps, hazardous chemical handling demands strong safety rules, extensive training, and robust emergency planning. The Bhopal gas tragedy is a striking reminder of the devastation caused by industrial irresponsibility. In the aftermath of one of the world's deadliest industrial disasters, survivors faced not only acute horrors but also long-term medical effects. The calamity had an everlasting impact on both people and the environment. The survivors had a variety of acute and chronic health difficulties. Respiratory difficulties became widespread, with many people having serious trouble breathing. Numerous people suffered from eye inflammation and some even lost their vision completely. Skin illness developed, resulting in painful sores and rashes that were difficult to cure. Neurological problems also appeared, affecting life with symptoms such as tremors, memory loss, and crippling pain. Tragically, the effect did not stop with the immediate survivors. Children born to afflicted parents had a greater rate of congenital abnormalities. This was anomalized varied from physical deformities to cerebral problems, leaving long-lasting impact on future generations. The environmental effect was similarly terrible. The land around the factory was heavily polluted. Toxic chemical poured into the soil, making it barren and unsuitable for cultivation. Groundwater, a lifeline for many communities, was contaminated, posing a major threat to public health for years to come. Decades have passed since the catastrophe, but the ones it left behind are far from healing. The tragic site remains polluted, serving as a chilling reminder of the horrific events. Despite multiple efforts, the poisonous legacy continues to contaminate land and groundwater. The area, which was once lively and alive, is now a deadly wasteland. Many victims and their families continue to struggle for fair compensation and medical treatment. The pursuit of justice has become a lifetime battle. Activists and non-governmental organizations have taken up the cause, working relentlessly to ensure justice and effective restoration of the damaged region. Their voice echoed the call for accountability and adequate support for the victims. Non-governmental organizations (NGO) play an important role in providing medical treatment and assistance to people impacted. The labor in the face of hardship, motivated by the desire to restore health and hope. The path ahead is long and challenging. However, with the community unshakable spirit, activists' unrelenting determination, and the assistance of the government organization (NGO), there is a hope for a future which justice is served and the land is restored.
Let's move to the next one. Here are detailed strategies with explanations on how each can mitigate or eliminate the risk associated with such accidents. First of all, it is imperative to put strict safety procedure and emergency response plans into action. Frequent safety audits can spot possible risks, and local communities and staff emergency drills guarantee preparedness in the event of an incident. During emergencies, prompt information dissemination is made possible by establishing dependable communication channels between the plant, local authorities, and the community. Potential hazards can be identified and mitigated before they become critical through comprehensive risk assessment and management. For every process, through risk assessment and hazard and operability studies (HAZO) should be carried out. Based on the result of the assessment, risk mitigation strategies should then be developed and put into practice. To keep up with new developments and shifting circumstances, risk assessments and mitigation strategies must be reviewed and updated on a regular basis. Then, stricter regulations guarantee that companies follow strict safety guidelines. To effectively apply these standards, government should strengthen environmental and safety regulations for chemical plants, require independent bodies to conduct regular inspections, and impose heavy fines for non-compliance.
All employees must regularly attend training programs about handling hazardous materials, emergency response, and using safety equipment. These sessions are mandatory for new hires and include frequent refreshers and emergency drills. This training helps prevent mistakes and ensure everyone can respond quickly and efficiently in emergencies. Next, install modern monitoring system to quickly detect temperature changes, leaks, and equipment issues. This system should have alarms to alert workers immediately if there are any problems. Early detection allows for quickly action, preventing minor issues from becoming big problem. Real-time alarms ensure workers are aware of hazards quickly, enabling fast evacuation and containment to improve safety. Lastly, regularly inspect and maintain all safety equipment like containment dikes, pressure release valve, and gas scrubber. Follow a strict maintenance schedule and keep detailed record of inspection and repairs. Proper maintenance ensures safety equipment works when needed, preventing failures, and maintaining a safe working environment. This also ensures emergency response are effective and reduce the risk of accident.
Now, we will be discussing the job hazard analysis conducted on the Bhopal gas tragedy. This analysis aims to identify the potential hazard associated with various job tasks and propose control measures to mitigate these risks. The first three job tasks are consult the chemical safety data sheet for substance information and trackback information access, hazardous chemical substance storage and handling, and equipment maintenance and safety system. First, let's look at the task of consulting the Chemical Safety Datasheet or CSDS. The criterion here is that in case of an emergency, workers can immediately refer back to the CSDS for crucial information. The potential hazard include the accidental spillage or leaks of the chemical substance and loss of information on the correct treating method after extreme accidental exposure. To control this hazard, we must ensure that the procurement of any chemical or hazardous material comes with a complete safety data sheet. This ensures that all necessary information is available for emergency reference. Next, we move on to the storage and handling of hazardous chemical substance. The first criterion is recording data for the procurement and storage of chemicals like methyl isocyanate (MIC). The potential hazard includes storing chemicals above the design capacity of storage tank and exceeding the regulatory limits for hazardous chemical. Control measures for this hazard include consulting specialists or manufacturers about the specification of structure and machinery, adhering strictly to regulatory limits, and ensuring that storage tanks are not filled to capacity, leaving at least one tank empty to avoid overpressure. Another criterion for the storage of MIC involves managing the duration of storage. Extended storage can lead to chemical instability, posing significant risks. To control this, we must strictly adhere to the allowed storage times, regularly maintain and examine storage tank, and establish a reliable inventory management system to monitor storage duration. Now, let's discuss equipment maintenance and safety system. The first criterion is employee competence and training. Potential hazards include inadequate and inexperienced personnel and reduced investment in training and maintenance. To mitigate this risk, we should provide comprehensive training courses, conduct frequent refresher courses and assessment, and prioritize safety over cost-cutting measures. Another important criterion is maintaining operational flight hours. Out-of-service flight hours can lead to significant hazard. To control this, we must ensure that flight hours are always operational and have backup system in place to deal with excess gas. Next, we look at temperature and pressure monitoring. Faulty gauges ignored by workers can be a major hazard. Control measures include replacing faulty gauges with reliable modern instruments, implementing regular check and maintenance schedule, and training workers to understand and respond to gauge readings effectively. Water ingress prevention is another critical criterion. The absence of valve to stop water from entering MIC tank can lead to significant hazard. To control this, we should install and regularly inspect valve and implement policies to prevent water entry during repairs and maintenance. Last but not least, let's discuss the coolant in MIC tank refrigerator. A lack of coolant can increase the risk of runaway reaction. To mitigate this risk, we must check and refill the coolant regularly and use multiple cooling systems to control heat production.
Bhopal disaster gives major changes in industrial practices. Therefore, to prevent similar catastrophic industrial accidents such as Bhopal disaster is by doing a job hazard analysis. Our focus is on three main areas: emergency response plan training, emergency backup system, and the last is clear signage and restriction order. Emergency response plan training. The first crucial element is emergency response plan training. This involves critical emergency situation assessment. Develop procedure to evaluate and mitigate critical emergencies, preventing further escalation of accident. This includes handling process upset or machinery failure that leads to chemical leaks. And then we have to do the periodic safety training. Workers must undergo regular safety training such as fire drill and LOTO program, or we call it as lockout tagout programs, to ensure they can efficiently execute emergency procedure when needed. By implementing comprehensive emergency response, we can ensure workers are prepared to handle unexpected situation effectively and reduce the risk of major accident. The second one is emergency backup system. We need a robust emergency backup system that includes assessment procedure for process failure, establish information and procedure to anticipate and manage potential process failure, such as chemical distribution or storage system failure, and machinery malfunction that could cause leaks. And then we have backup mechanism, such as providing emergency backup tanks and safety valve to prevent further chemical leakage or uncontrolled release. Detection and warning system. Ensure the installation and maintenance of reliable gas detection and alert system. Regularly test and calibrate this device to ensure they can function correctly. These backup systems are essential for promptly identify and responding to process failure, minimizing the impact of any chemical leaks or machinery malfunction. The third one is clear signage and restriction order. Clear signage and restriction order are vital for maintaining safety in workplace. This includes universal signage. Implement universal signage to mark boundaries and restriction zone clearly, particularly in area prone to accidental fire or explosion. Segregation of work area. Ensure proper segregation of work area, especially where activities that generate spark or electric arc occur near flammable material. By providing clear and visible sign, we can prevent accident exposure to hazard and ensure that workers are aware of restricted area, thereby reducing the risk of accident.